Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, Gearing Up for Prime Day 2025, Scaling Smarter with Amazon and Adyogi. We have an amazing lineup of speakers today who bring a wealth of experience and expertise to help you supercharge your strategies for this year's Prime Day sale. Joining us today is Abhi Sharma, Associate Director Marketplace at Adyogi. Next up, we have Kunal Shah, Fashion Head Advertising at Amazon. And we have Alicia Rothor, Assistant Manager Marketplace at Adyogi. Over to you, Alicia.
All right. Thank you, Hurley. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us on today's webinar, Gearing Up for Prime Day 2025, Scaling Smarter with Amazon and Adyogi. We're thrilled to see the amount of responses we have received for this particular webinar, and we can't wait to share the exceptional strategies we have tested on some of the best brands, and can't wait to share those with you. We'll just get started. So in today's session, we'll be uncovering how do we really plan Prime Day? How do we execute the best strategies? How do we gear up for numbers? And how do we execute the post Prime Day strategies to build up the best momentum for the upcoming events? I like to begin with a brief on Prime Day first. So Prime Day is one of the largest events on Amazon. It's a 2.5 day long event that happens generally in the second week of July. We've seen brands doing exceptional numbers on Prime Day. For certain brands, if I talk about, we've seen them doing one of their highest revenues during the year, right? It's the biggest opportunity for brands to come and prospect for new customers, build market share. For certain brands who would want to build new launches, new NPDs, this is a great opportunity for all of them, right? I have a few highlights from last PD. Let's look at them. All right. So we have a very interesting figure. So while Prime Day shoppers are increasing year on year, we saw that there were roughly 24% increase in the total number of Prime Day shoppers compared to 2023 and 2024. If we were to talk about the largest orders in per single minute, we saw that crossing around 24K. That speaks pretty much about the potential of the event. We also saw certain small and medium-sized businesses joining in this particular event. There was a particular increase of, say, 30% in the ratios of SMBs joining us in last year. Interestingly, the number of fast-moving fashion brands, especially D2C, joining Prime Day last year were around a 5x if we compare to 2023, which pretty much speaks about the entire potential of the event. So I feel, in my opinion, Prime Day becomes a massive opportunity for any brand who wants to present themselves to high intended Indian users coming from tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities, and becomes a bigger opportunity for them to build their market share, build their reach, and build Amazon as a platform. In today's session, I have an interesting three-stage strategy wherein we'll be uncovering how do we really plan the entire pre-event momentum. How do we discuss? How do we, decide on the strategies during the event? What are the tools that we should be really looking at? What are the matrices and data trends that we should be really tracking during the event? And what are the things that we really should be gearing up post the event to build best amount of impact? Uh, so what I've done is the entire three-stage strategy is divided into these three stages. The first stage being the pre-Prime Day stage, which generally starts 2 to 4 weeks before the event. It could be larger for certain brands depending on their scales and the type of category they're operating in. This is the period when the massive amount of time is invested into, planning the targets for the event, what are the objectives for these brands to achieve during these cycles, and what are the levers that we have in our hands. Moving on to the Prime Day period, we look at what are the strategies that can be lifted during these time to make most amount of conversions. How do we build NPDs during this time? What are the tools that can be leveraged to build the max amount of efficiency, right? Moving on to post Prime Day, that's when we look at how do we really garner the additional amount of traffic that we gather during, Prime Day, and how do we build that? How do we utilize that traffic to position our brand, build a remarketing funnel, and to gear up for more conversions for the upcoming event? I'll cover each part of these strategies in detail with you so that you have a better understanding of how do we plan these stages. Right. Talking about the pre-Prime Day part first. So the first step for any event to begin is to understand what are our objectives of that event. For different brands and different categories, is objectives can differ. For instance, brands who are new in the category, they might want to focus mostly on reach, right? For brands who have been into the category for a longer period of time, they might want to build on market share or maybe improve their overall rankings in the particular category. For brands who are keen on launching new products, say categories like electronics, home and appliances, gadgets, might want to focus on new launches given the amount of traffic that that Amazon as a platform experiences. It also becomes an opportunity for brands who would want to, build their certain categories during this particular period of time. So depending on what your goals are, you can select a combination of these goals if required, or you can pursue one or two goals in specific. I recommend that you corresponding to each of these goals, you define your primary and secondary matrices that will help you chase and be decisive during this entire duration of the event. For instance, if you're chasing conversions along with efficiency, your primary metric might be an ROS and your secondary metric could be a spend or a revenue. Right. Moving on, while we have decided the entire goal of Prime Day, be it conversions, be it reach, the next step is to devise what is the ads and the operational strategy to achieve the entire target. For a number of events, we've seen that most amount of prospecting happens before the event. For instance, if I have to quote data points, for Prime Day specifically last year, we saw that 93% of the people who bought during Prime Day were active browsers in the previous week, right? So it becomes very important to plan your entire funnel pre-Prime Day, right? So we recommend following a full funnel approach there, wherein ensuring visibility in the first 2 weeks before the Prime Day is at most important. It's important that the product is highly discoverable while you leveraging products, advertising products like sponsored brands, sponsored videos, sponsored display for CTRs and for building visibility. We recommend that we utilize tools like Amazon DSP to leverage interesting placements on high traffic, placements like home pages, category browsing pages, hero headers, etc. Um, the creatives used in DSP are high CTR oriented. You will have more control over the kind of formats that you're using, and you'll have more access to the traffic, right? You'll have more footfalls on your PDPs. Um, Equally devised approach on how you're planning your middle funnel. Your middle funnel will be inclusive of, are you visible on competition PDPs? Are you visible on the category browsing pages? Are you was targeting your audience remarketing funnel, right? We have observed brands who follow a full funnel approach, they observe at least 15 to 20% growth in their bottom funnel. So it's very important that we devise the entire funnel in a way wherein we have 35 to 40% of the money invested in the top funnel pre-event. There's a possibility that your ROS during that time might not be good, but let's focus on optimizing during CTRs, impressions, and reach during that time because that's the entire objective of the phase. We want to gather in more footfalls, more glance views. Right. Uh, all right. Well, that's been the ads part of it. In the Prime Day phase, we'll also like to focus on fulfillment and hygiene. While I understand this might be a very basic component while you're operating on any marketplace platform, but I've seen that most of the time this goes very undervalued. So I like to emphasize too much on this. Uh, Planning your inventory, planning your on platform assets like listings and brand stores are highly essential. For instance, if we talk about inventory, ensuring that uh, you've identified enough amount of products in your top sellers, you've identified your top categories. Uh, Depending on the target that you're trying to achieve during the PD, you have ensured enough stock is there in the required warehouses. Ensuring that the right inwards have also been made timely is important. So that's from an inventory perspective. Apart from this, I think it's highly important to also consider the discounting strategy. It's important that we get in touch with category POCs. We understand what are the dynamics of discounting during this upcoming, event. What different type of deal tags available? Is there a Prime Day specific deal tag that's available that has been the case in the past events? Or like the previous Prime Day, we saw that a lot of brands had access to limited time offers that were live 2 3 hours before the Prime Day was made live, right? So what is that the category holds for that particular say category at that point of time. If there are new deal tags and all, leveraging those enough. At the same time, the aggressiveness of the category can differ at different point of time during the event. So it's very important that you devise few different case scenarios for discounting. For instance, when the competition is giving X discount, you might want to give Y. When the competition is offering X plus Y, you want to offer Y plus Z, right? So to keep ready, those cases should be very handy, should be very studied, so that we know that whenever certain things happens in the category, this is the case that you wish to follow. Another important thing to say is that ensuring the delivery timelines are competitive in comparison to the competition, right? We've seen that delivery timelines are becoming the breaking point for a lot of brands into the category. So ensuring that aspects like FBA are leveraged enough in wordings and waiting time, so that delivery timelines are not violated. Uh, Additionally, Prime Day also becomes an interesting way to push your overall AOVs up, since a lot of customers are prospecting the category. We have seen that the chances of them exploring newer products are high. The chances of them trying out higher AOV products are slightly more high. So in categories wherein there are chances of creating virtual combos, there's chances of creating bundles, definitely trying those out to push the overall AOV up. Another important point is the content. By content, I refer here to the marketplace, the assets that we have on the marketplace, by which I refer to the brand store and the listings. Ensuring that your listings for all your top products at least are well in place, the titles are optimized, the reviews and ratings are well in place, the descriptions are optimized, the backend keywords are well in placed, right? So this will help you in your entire listing to be highly discoverable, and will ensure that you don't have to bid too much high to ensure that your products are visible on your top keywords and organically too. At the same time, ensure that your brand store is sale ready. We recommend that you create a small tab in the name of, say, best deals or the event deals, wherein your top sellers with highest best deals are visible on tops, and you have curated combos, every higher AOV products placed in there, so that it's easier for customers to navigate and make their purchasing decisions. Right. Moving on. Right. Last but not the least, I think 7 days before Prime Day are the most crucial time for any campaign structuring to happen. While we scale 2x, 3x, and even higher than that during Prime Day, it's very important that your top campaigns are in momentum before 4 to 5 days before Prime Day. Ensure that the bids are optimized in a way wherein the campaigns are in momentum, right amount of targetings have been, played in. It's very important to also, leverage tools like marketing streams, wherein you can identify what are those part of days wherein your brand is converting the best. That ways you'll be able to identify the durations wherein you would want to keep your target bids higher, or you would want to keep your placement bids higher, or other parts of the day wherein you would want to reduce down on your leakages. At the same time, if there's a brand who has ran DSP in past, I highly recommend using Amazon Marketing Cloud. Amazon Marketing Cloud will give you an idea of, what is your ideal optimized path of conversions, will give you an idea as to what are the formats that you should be leveraging enough. Develop on those formats, 7 days before the event. So then again, they are in momentum, all the approvals are in place, and scaling it's at least not a problem during Prime Day. Certain best practices I like to reflect upon is ensure we have done enough amount of A/B testing at least 4 to 5 weeks before the event, so that we know what are the highest CTR creatives for us, what are the formats that work well for us, and we can leverage enough on them during the events. Hourly total sales insights, do read upon them. Do know that how does your total sale trends during weekdays, during BUs, during weekends, so that while the sale trends are incoming, you are able to make well good comparisons, and you're able to take better calls. Day parting, as we discussed, know the times of the day wherein you're converting well, know the times of the day wherein you're not converting well. You can also study the data from previous Prime Day, know what are the best converting times for your category. You can get in touch with your category POCs to access this data. And last but not the least, very important, keep some amount of backup campaigns ready. Event times, the dynamics change very quick. Social trends also change very quick. The campaigns that you might have planned might not be enough to reach the desired amount of scale. So ensure you have 20-25% of the backup campaigns ready with right amount of long tail, short tail keywords, and they're in certain momentum, so that when you switch them on Prime Day, it doesn't become difficult for them to scale on day one. Right. So that sums up the pre-Prime Day phase. Uh, moving on to a very interesting question that we have for all of you. Which stage of Prime Day are you in? We'll wait for a few more seconds. Perfect. All right. So we see that most of our audiences are in the defining targets stage of their part. I hope I was able to help you figure out a few things if you've missed out on anything. Perfect. All right. Right. Moving on to the next stage of the entire strategy, which is the prime day, the D-day planning, the strategies that we should be really looking forward to on building. Um, all right, these 2 days of prime days, I feel that most of the time here goes into monitoring and identifying trends. I have identified a certain set of things that we should be highly cognizant of while we're operating on these 2 days. Number one being your total sales trend. So you must have given attribution factors. You must have seen that while you're optimizing campaigns, you're given attribution, you might not be able to get real-time idea. So it's very important that we see how is our total sales moving on an hourly basis. In case you want to take scale up and scale down calls, you see your total sales moving, you can definitely scale up the campaigns basis the total sales incremental percentages, right? You should also be cognizant of how is your category moving, how is the traffic in your category changing. For instance, you would want to understand if the traffic in the category is higher during the evening hours, or is it higher in the afternoon hours, or is it higher on a particular slot, and you would want to optimize your campaign structure, your bids and placement bids according to that. So, and you can also plan the amount of budgets that you would want to scale during that particular hour, right? So this data can be leveraged. Another important aspect is, and I feel that this is something that the entire day goes on in, is understand the front end visibility, right? The front end dynamics keep changing because you will see that the competition is going aggressive and a number of brands are changing their bidding strategy, and also you'll see your visibility is not maintained throughout the day. So ensure that you have a list of targets well prepared with you, wherein you know that you cannot compromise on visibility at least during the peak hours, and ensure that your visibility there is throughout the day maintained, right? And you can keep a list of say P2 targets, which are not that important, but in case say scale is becoming a challenge, you would want to ensure the visibility there. uh, Fourthly is visibility on branded keywords. So while a lot of searches are happening, brands are also discovering new customers are also discovering newer brands. They will also search via the brand name. So it's very important that we are highly visible on the branded keywords of our brand, right? A way to do this better is maybe keep higher bids, right? And use a up and down bidding strategy, at least during peak hours for the brand, so that you ensure your visibility is not compromised in the peak hours. Right. And again, keep massive checks on front end. Ensure that top converting branded keywords wherein you cannot compromise on visibility. There's a list already maintained for it, and constant checks are placed there every 15-30 minutes so that you don't compromise on the visibility part. Another important thing that varies from category to category is tracking how is competition pricing and stock availability moving. For instance, you might have seen that in electronics as a category, a lot of products go out of stock. So that becomes an opportunity for another brands to be visible on the keywords and the PDPs of those pages to make most out of the sales. So ensure that you make a list of competition ASINs that you would want to would want to track closely, and keep checking how are they altering their prices. A lot of brands dynamically dynamically operate their pricing. So maybe the discounting strategy that you curated in the phase one of this strategy, you can have that implemented in basis that discounting that's operating in your category. Ensure that the deal tags, ensure the offers are visible. A lot of times you've seen that brands, while they're operating, marketers, while they're operating, they miss out on checking the deals, cash coupons, and all of those. Ensure that there are enough checks placed so that the CVRs are not impacted. Right. At the same time, it's very important that you keep a check on, your delivery timelines. You ensure that the buy box stays with you, the prime delivery tag stays with you, and there's no misses in terms of, delivery timeline. And then the buy box stays with you. It's not passed on to any other seller. So keep constant check. At least all of these two should be ensured for, SKUs that will be deriving 70-80% of your sales. I think that would help. Perfect. Moving on, I'd like to talk a little about what should be the overall approach of campaign management during this time. Uh, I understand why marketers must be spending a lot of real time, time effort on managing all these campaigns, budgets, and bids. It's better if we figure out certain tools like Drona, AMS automation tools to manage our in budget campaigns and to manage our bids. For instance, what you could do here is uh, uh, you can identify durations wherein your campaigns are converting well. Use marketing stream to do this, and then you can leverage Drona to keep your bids higher by a certain percentage during those slots. You can also leverage AMS automation, budget automation tool to ensure that during peak hours, none of your campaigns, at least your top campaigns, are not going out of budget, right? Identify ensure that all these rules and strategies are well in place, and test them out pre-prime day and then launch them during prime day, tweak them real time to ensure visibility is not impacted and placement slots are being taken. At the same time, what I'll recommend is that while you're optimizing the campaign, do read the data as to a lot of search term trends also change during these times. Your top converting keywords in BU might not be the same keywords that wherein you're getting, the conversions during events. So identify those keywords, ensure impression share continues to grow on them, and correspondingly check your total sales. You will see if you're scaling on the right side of keywords, your total sales is also increasing correspondingly. So that's from campaign management perspective. Right. So we've covered the first two stages. That brings me to the last stage of the strategy, which is post Prime Day. A lot of brands miss out on capitalizing on this part, but for the brands that we've tried it and tested it out, I think that's had made a very big impact. For instance, if I talk about the amount of traffic that we observe during PD, right? Post Prime Day remarketing gives us, a way out to position our brand again to these customers. You can also build out conversions during this time by offering these customers an additional discount to try out the product. A lot of customers we've seen in past have wishlisted and added the product to the cart, but have not executed the purchase, maybe because they were not able to execute it during that time. So you can retarget those consumers again. You can try interacting those with those customers. And build a better brand engagement. That will basically increase your overall funnel and will help you gear up for better opportunities of events. Second is to identify that the target that you prepared for the event, how have you landed corresponding to that target? Have you overachieved? Have you underachieved? If What were the reasons for overachieving? What were the reasons of underachieving? What worked well for you? What did not work? Was visibility a challenge? Was there a stock out? Did a particular product work out well? Right. Identifying all these things so that we have enough amount of learnings for upcoming events, right? And we can capitalize on. Right. An interesting thing could be you can always something that I do for most of our brands is I document the strategies for every event month on month for them, and I implement it in the next event, and I think that's able to save some amount of efficiency. Right. Right. I think, yeah, that's mostly about post Prime Day. I think that sums up the entire three-stage strategy on building PD. I hope I was able to capture most of your questions. I was able to build in certain amount of thought process as to how to plan for PD, how to execute it during the second phase, and how do you make most out of the last stage. I would just want to cover one last thing. Given we have worked with a number of brands, there's certain mistakes, first time mistakes that a number of brands do. So I'll just walk you through those so there are no chances of mistake this upcoming Prime Day. So one is that over promising on discounts. Ensure that all of your discounting strategies are made in advance. Don't just stick to one strategy. Have two, three things in play, and ensure that those are well aligned with the category so that there is no last minute problems. Do ensure that you know what kind of deals, new deals Amazon is coming up, and ensure you have leveraging them enough at the right point of time. Don't wait for day two to start before the event, right? Ensure, second thing, ensure there are no inventory mismanagements, right amount of inverts are happening timely. Um, just to give you an idea for any brand who might not be sure what is the amount of stock that they should be maintaining, ensure that you at least have 2.5x your BAU stock to, uh, build on Prime Day. That should be sufficient to start enough, right? Ensure that you are doing in certain amount of engagement pre-Prime Day because that's when maximum amount of prospecting happens. If you're able to build good amount of prospecting the pre-Prime Day, you will be able to build good amount of conversions during the event, right? Ensure you are reading the real-time data, make use of automation tools, make use of marketing tools, uh, and make the best decisions basis the front end, right? Another important thing, a very small thing, but a very important thing, whatever is your target spend for the month for the PD, ensure you have 2.5x, 3x that budget in your wallets. Um, Payment failures, RO challenges are the last thing that we would want in an event like this. So ensure all of this is prepared. Right. That brings me towards the end of this particular session. I hope I was able to answer most of your questions. In case there's anything, please feel free to DM us. Thank you. Over to you, Ali.
Sure. Thank you so much, Alicia, for sharing such valuable insights. It's pretty clear that with the right strategies and tools, brands can truly maximize their success the sale period. So, for our audience, let's do a quick poll before we proceed on to our next segment. You'll see the question on your screens now. What do you think will have the biggest impact on your Prime Day performance? Is it campaign execution, the right tools, an effective optimization strategy, or live insights to keep performance on track? Request everyone to please submit in the responses. Request everyone to please participate in the poll. Thanks everyone for your responses. It's clear that smart real-time decisions and strong execution are top of mind, which make our next conversation with the Amazon team even more relevant. So moving on to the next section, let's dive into the best practices that can actually move the needle this Prime Day. In today's fast paced e commerce environment, tapping into the right data and tools can be the difference between average results and breakthrough performance, especially during high impact events like Amazon Prime Day Sale. To unpack this further, we're joined by an expert panel of Kunal Shah and Abhi Sharma. Together, they'll share actionable insights on how brands can use data and technology to maximize visibility, drive conversions, and scale smartly during Prime Day. So, let's begin the discussion. Kunal, so my first question is for you. Prime Day 2025 is just around the corner. From Amazon's fashion category perspective, what are the key opportunities and new features that fashion brands should be most excited about this Prime Day? And how has the fashion landscape on Prime Day evolved compared to previous years?
Hey, thanks, Arlene. And first of all, very good evening to everyone on the call. Happy to connect with you all and help you leverage this Prime Day event to gain maximum sales. And how our experience can help you. Regarding Prime Day, I think fashion landscape on Amazon has evolved quite a bit. A few years back, Amazon was a destination primarily for essentials, where essential categories used to do really well. When I say essentials, it's socks, innerwear, etc. Uh, and in recent times, in last 2 years, even core fashion categories have picked up really well. So either people, brands selling women Western wear, ethnic wear, men t-shirts, etc. All fast fashion segments have also grown significantly well. And thanks to sort of right levers that Amazon has deployed in the market, we have Ananya Pandey as sole sort of exclusive brand ambassador for Amazon Fashion itself since last year. We promoted during May summer sale, and now we are promoting Amazon Fashion as a destination for everyone to shop, even for Prime Day. So it's this is how I think fashion category is evolving, and more sort of shoppers all throughout the country are considering fashion to buy fashion or buy any category, Amazon as the foremost destination. In terms of what are the new features advertisers should look out for and should be using, we have quite a new set of features on Amazon Ad Console. So a lot of small size and mid size brands at times do not have exclusive capability to create creative assets, images to be used on PDP pages, to be used for ad campaigns, whether it is sponsored brand, sponsored display. So with the advent of AI, we have now this feature on Ad Console itself. So all brands who are advertising can sort of go to Creative Tools tab on the left side menu, and under that, Image Generator, where they can put the ASIN details and put what kind of image they want. So the outcome of the image will depend on what prompt you are giving. So as with any AI tool, whether promptly use outside Chat GPT, Gemini, your prompt defines what outcome you get. So the more specific you are with the prompt, you will get the desired sort of creative asset. So this, I think, brands can leverage, for Prime Day purpose. Then we have this another new feature on search ads. Earlier, audience targeting was only available for sponsored display, where sponsored display placements are only product detail pages. Now, Amazon has introduced audience targeting for sponsored products and sponsored brands as well, where brands again can leverage audience targeting for SP and SB slots. The way to do this is you can either do this in existing campaigns or sort of create new campaigns. In the campaign, once you go inside a campaign under bid adjustments, you'll find as audience as a tab. And there are 3, 4 different audience segments which are readily available and customized for each brand, where brands can do further sharper targeting to keywords, to a lot of high volume generic keywords, by introducing the audience layer. Commonly used audiences are people who have added the product to cart but haven't purchased yet, or you are doing retargeting on SP and SB, where all the purchasers of last 90 days you can retarget them on SP. So there are such 3, 4 different audiences available. I truly believe this will make a lot of difference in improving your ROAS and also reaching a sharper audience. I think these are some of the features that advertisers should use. Um, Advertisers who have reached a reasonable size on the platform in terms of sales, in terms of advertising spends, can also do remarketing on homepage. And You no longer need to sort of be connected with Amazon to do this. Adyogi can sort of help you in promoting your brand on the homepage of Amazon, where you can also receive very good performance metrics such as ROAS, where you are retargeting the audience who have viewed you in last 3 days, last 7 days, but not purchased yet. So it's a very sharp targeting and on a very prominent placement, that is homepage. That also derives quite a good result, where on homepage visibility, your brand gets a visibility on the homepage on a very niche audience and highly converting audience. So these are some of the features I think brands should utilize, which will help them gain traction for Prime Day.
Right. Thanks for that insightful answer. It's exciting to see how the fashion category continues to evolve and open up new opportunities each year. So, building on that, let's dive a little deeper into what can brands do differently this time to truly stand out during Time Day. So, Abhi, my next question is for you. Fashion brands often struggle with inventory planning and ad spend allocation during Time Day. And Adyogi's Big Atom tool segments products into top performers, high potential, zombie products, and non performing categories. So, during a high intensity event like Time Day, how does this segmentation help brands avoid wasted ad spends? So, like, can you share some specific examples of how this tool performs during a performed during a previous Time Day?
Right. Absolutely, Helene. Quite a relevant question there, especially considering that, the primary category that we are talking about today is fashion. So Prime Day, is like a 48-hour sprint. It's not a marathon, it's a sprint where every rupee of ad spend that you're putting into the account, that needs to work harder towards achieving your goals, right? Now, what we've seen is that most brands, they make this mistake of treating all their catalog, all their products equally during Prime Day. And that's exactly where they lose money. And that's where our tool Big Atom comes into picture. So Big Atom essentially is an automation tool that creates rule-based scenarios for intelligent, budget allocation across your entire product catalog. Uh, these automations, these rules are created, based on multiple layers there, multiple layers of data. The first one being performance metrics. So, for example, products where you've spent, a considerable amount of money, and rules basis CVRs, ROAS, total sales, etc. So you can configure rules basis those. The second layer is rules basis your product attributes. So, for example, the inventory of the product, right? The inventory levels, the cut sizes. So, cut size is very relevant term when we talk about apparels, fashion products, right? Then your discount percentages, your MRPs, etc. And you can also create campaigns basis, the color variants. So, for example, you want to add a particular color only in a particular ad group. That also can be done through these rules. Now, based on these rules, we segment the entire catalog into four quadrants, right? And each of this quadrant, the four quadrants, would have a different strategy, how we, plan what to do with these products there. The first quadrant is your top performing products. So these are the cash cows where the majority of the business comes from. And we have usually high sales for these particular products, but at a mid level of ROAS, average ROAS of the products. Now, the objective here is to scale to the extent possible, maintaining efficiency of the product, right? Your second quadrant is high potential products. Now, these are your star products, which have a really good potential of becoming top sellers. But for some reason, they haven't got their share of spends or share of visibility, right? Due to, let's say, misallocation of budgets there. These would essentially have really very good ROAS figures, but low or mid level of sales, right? So the objective here is to scale rapidly. Identify those products and put in money. They are gonna, most probably perform really good there. The third quadrant is your zombie products, and these are the products, where the spends are low, the sales are low, and there is very limited data for us to make an inference what kind of product this is, right? So the objective here again is to do controlled testing with limited budget allocation, and then divert these products into either the top performing ones or the poor performing ones, right? The fourth quadrant is your poor performing quadrant, your poor performing products, right? Now, these are the products where the spends are really high, but for some reason specific to the product or the competition, the sales have been really low. Objective is clear cut to minimize spends to the extent possible. And in the Big Atom tool itself, we have a stop loss feature wherein you can set rules basis performance. As I said, let's say the spends are greater than X, but ROAS is less than Y, and you want to blanket pause all these ASINs from all the campaigns, right? So that could be done through the stop loss rule itself. Now, talking about an example here, from the last Prime Day that we worked on. So we had a apparel brand, again a leading apparel brand. They had more than 5,000 SKUs in their catalog. Now, before Big Atom, they were spending roughly around 50 lakhs a month, across all the products without much regulations, what amount of budget goes into what, which particular products or categories. But after implementing Big Atom, employing Big Atom here, so what we realized before that was that majority of the sales, close to 70% of the sales were coming from 5% of their catalog. Now 5% is roughly close around 200 SKUs out of your 5,000 SKUs. Now these were the SKUs which were generating majority of the sales. So during Prime Day, we allocated 80% of the budgets, the Prime Day budget, to these products. And the result was that with almost 250% higher daily spends, we were able to deliver 35% better efficiency, right? So that's the kind of impact an account can see if the budgets are allocated in the right product sets. Yeah.
Got it. Thanks for breaking that down for us, Abhi. It's clear that having clarity on where to invest, especially during a high stake event like Prime Day, can make all the difference. And that example really highlights how data-led segmentation is just as useful. It's essential for driving efficient growth as well. So my next question is for you, Kunal. What specific Amazon advertising formats like DSP, sponsored brands, sponsored products should fashion brands prioritize? And also, how should brands leverage Amazon Marketing Cloud insights to map their customer journey during Prime Day?
I think brands can continue to spend across all ad products. I would suggest, do a full funnel advertising where sponsored products, sponsored brand video, sponsored display, DSP serves different sort of journey of a shopper. So continue to sort of be active on all. I can suggest some average split, but this should work differently for different brands. But usually 60 to 70% can a brand can continue to spend on sponsored products, and then remaining 30-40% between SB, SBV, SD, and display. This is sort of a most average split between ad products, where sponsored product is mostly bottom of the funnel, helping to convert and close sales, while SB, SBV, SD do a lot of remarketing, a lot of in-market and targeting competition ASINs, etc. So both of them is important. I would also sort of strongly recommend whatever top sellers, best sellers within your portfolio, try to sort of add a top of search multiplier in your SP campaigns. This again, there is a misunderstanding of this where people think that cost per click will go up, etc. But if your ASINs have good review ratings and they are your best sellers, uh, if while putting a bid multiplier on it will increase CPC, but on the same hand, the conversion also goes up, and significantly sales increase happens through this measure. So please, on certain high volume keywords for your base sellers, add a top of search multiplier. That is something I would strongly suggest. Plus, with the help of Adyogi, continue to sort of derive insights from AMC. AMC is Amazon Marketing Cloud, which gives a lot of insights for a brand on what is sort of average consideration period for any category, subcategory. How much time does shopper take from putting the first search keyword to making the final purchase, whether it is 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, and what is the average journey of a shopper? How many number of products does a shopper click? What is the journey, etc. All that data helps you customize your ad strategy in terms of where you should spend. And apart from ROAS, which is mostly primary metric for all of you, uh, different ad products serve different objective. So through AMC, you can also see that how many new to brand customers your sponsored brand or sponsored brand video campaign is bringing. So while SB and SBV may not be giving you, let's say, best ROAS, but they are serving a different purpose where they are adding more and more new customers to your brand. So accordingly, I think you can leverage this to your benefit during Prime Day.
Got it. Thank you so much, Kunal. So Abhi, my next question is for you. Adyogi uses Amazon marketing stream data for real-time optimization. So during Prime Day, when every hour matters, how does your automation adjust bids and budgets?
Right, right. Uh, Again, your good question there, Harleen, and I'm happy that we are talking about Amazon marketing stream, because I feel this particular tool has not got the limelight that it deserves, right? It definitely delivers. It gives a lot of deep insights around how things are at a granular level. However, before answering that question, I want to be completely transparent here about how marketing stream actually works. So many people think that you can make real-time, decisions. And especially events like Prime Day, during events, such events, using marketing stream data. But there's a critical challenge there in, using marketing stream data to make real-time decisions. That challenge is attribution delays, right? So essentially, marketing stream is something built over the ads ecosystem. So whatever ads attribution delays we have on the AMS panel, the same delays are there on marketing stream data as well. Which means that the data you see during Prime Day or any other event isn't immediately actionable for real-time decisions. Uh, However, having said that, here's where it becomes incredibly powerful for Prime Day specifically, the preparation overall, and what we at Adyogi, the way we use marketing stream for events. So we leverage the last year's marketing stream insights to create our event playbooks, our Prime Day playbooks, right? So for instance, if we talk about the total portfolio that Adyogi managed, so last year's data, it shows us exactly the hours of the day when the traffic, those spikes, the peaks in the traffic, right? Uh, Typically, in the last year, what we saw was that in day one, during day one of Prime Day, uh, there were two peaks. The first one was somewhere around 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. And there was another in the evening, somewhere around 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. And then during day two, so day two starts early, it seems, for the customers there. The first peak comes around 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the second peak starts later in the day around 8 p.m. and then goes on till midnight. So all these inputs from last year are really very crucial when planning your current event, this year event. And these numbers I'm talking about are at a portfolio level, overall Adyogi portfolio level. But we can also leverage category specific behavior patterns, and every category would have different traffic trends. So and that's obvious. Fashion category would obviously have different peaks than your electronics category, right? And not just at a category level, at a brand level too. So if, let's say, if the brand has access to the last year marketing stream data, they can see for their particular brand what are the trends when their customers get active on the platform. Uh, Now, having said that, so based on historical, marketing stream data, what we do is we configure our automation rules. Right. So, for example, during specific part of the day, increase the bids by 30 to 40%. So probably, let's say, whenever we had the highest conversion windows during the previous Prime Day, so we'll increase the bids for our targets during those windows. We can also set rules to scale back bids by 20% during low traffic periods, especially day two ka, early part of the day is low, is what we've seen. And we can also allocate majority budgets, probably 60 to 70% of the daily budget that we had for Prime Day for these peak hours, right? And we've used, extensively marketing extensively in the events previously as well. And we've seen really good results. And, even without real-time adjustment, which we all talk about, which Alicia also, talked about in the session, that real-time adjustments are really very important. But if we pre-plan our campaigns, our day parting, all that stuff basis those trends, we've seen that even without real-time adjustments, the account has done really well. We've seen scale-ups beyond 3x with maintained efficiency if our campaigns are all in place, right? Uh, so, just the key insight is that marketing stream data, the real value of that data, is there in pre-planning based on past trends, past whatever traffic spikes we've seen, not real-time scenarios, real-time reactions, and then employing those data, employing those insights to create automations. Let's say, as I talked about day parting and all those stuff.
Got it. Thank you so much, Abhi, for such an insightful answer. So, moving on to the last question, this one's for you, Kunal. So many fashion brands make critical mistakes during Prime Day that hurt their performance. So, based on your experience, what are the top three mistakes that fashion brands make during Prime Day, and what would be your actionable advice to avoid them? And how important is the pre-Prime Day preparation phase?
Oh, this is my favorite question and favorite topic. Having gone through ARTs over past 3, 4 years and having met so many brands and had discussions with so many of them, I request all participants to sort of make a note. Um, these are some of the common mistakes that most brands do and should avoid, as per me, as per my experience, what works best for the brand. First critical mistake is quite a few brands apply special price deals on ASINs, but do not promote that ASIN. So if you're applying deal price, special pricing, you are pulling out budget to, give a special price and investing, but sort of not promoting that ASIN and that ASIN is not having enough visibility, it's not going to give you desired results. And we did this analysis at Amazon where we saw what should be the ideal split between, let's say, you're selling a 500 rupees ASIN and you have, let's say, 50 rupees to invest in pricing as well as ads. What is the proportion of split between ads and deals? So ideally, it should be 80-20. So 80% money budget that you have, you should put on ads, and 20% money you should park for giving deals. That's the most ideal combination that we have observed through historic data, which gives maximum sales uplift, right? So while most brands are very sort of diligent on giving deals, you should also make a point that are you giving enough visibility to that ASIN? Um, Second common mistake that I see is a lot of brands do increase budgets during the event or during Prime Day, but do not increase bids. Good performing lines within a campaign or good performing campaigns which are giving you desired ROAS. It's important to increase bids because uh, it's so competitive during those 2 days that almost head brands are sort of increasing their bids and trying to get more and more GV and traction. Uh, the conversion rate on the platform as it is goes up, and there is a high level of traffic on the platform. So even if you increase bids, it's not going to give you that much of downside results in ROAS. It is going to be offset by giving you a better conversion and through a better traffic, right? So please make it a point to not only increase budgets but increase bids in some of the important targeting lines that you have, which is working well for you. Another common mistake that I see is your best sellers, top sellers, whichever are sort of good selling ASINs, please defend them on the product detail page through sponsored display ads. Defend them with your own ASINs so that on your ASINs, shopper is not able to see some competitor ASIN and divert. So defending your top sellers and best sellers on sort of product detail page placements is also very, very important. Um, Another common mistake during JEF or Prime Day people make is they run through with the budget, and let's say by evening, afternoon, or 4 5 p.m. they exhaust the budget and sort of do not recharge or do not sort of continue. While most of the traffic spike happens in the evening, right from 7 p.m. to right 10 p.m. So ensure monitor your budget, and sort of make it a point to increase your budgets in these critical 2 days. You have enough time to optimize during the BAU days in the whole month. Don't try to optimize for these 2 days. I think the core objective for these 2 days should be maximizing sales, right? So you will have enough time on the remaining 28 days in the month to optimize for everything else. Then another very, very common mistake is we get calls from brands at 12 noon, 1 that our ACOS has gone up and hence we are sort of dialing down everything. Please note that ACOS has a 14-day, ACOS or a ROAS has a 14-day attribution period. So whatever ACOS you're seeing live on the screen is only going to improve as the days goes by. So don't make decisions basis the live ACOS because the entire attribution period hasn't been acknowledged. As far as your hourly orders are up, your unit sales are up, they are spiking, you should continue to do the spends. Looking at sort of live ACOS or ACOS during the day will sort of make you lose on the traffic. So these are some of the common mistakes that I see. Again, if I'm a brand, I would try to for Prime Day, my sole objective should be to maximize sales, to increase the rankings of my ASINs during these two events, which will help me post event also. If the ASIN ranking goes up, my conversion goes up, my sales goes up in the period that comes after Prime Day. So ROAS ACOS optimization should be focused during BAU, but during event, brand should capitalize on maximizing sales and sort of having a very good ASIN ranking. Because having a ASIN ranking up will have a far long-term impact on your sales than those 2 days. So instead of focusing on immediate ROAS, focus on sort of getting as much as sales spike during those 2 days. Usually we see a 3x kind of a spike on an average. Some good brands do 4x, 5x kind of spike. Some do 2x kind of a spike also. On the minimum side, it is 2x. Average is 3, more than 3. And then max is like 5, 6x also. So accordingly, you can aim for yourself what kind of a sales you want to track. Brands having pie access, please sort of continue to look at your GV share during the event. It's available with 2 3 hours lag on the pie portal. Let's say you are having a certain GV share during BAU period. You should maintain your GV share during the event period to maintain your sales basically. Let's say if your GV share during BAU is 2%, and then during the Prime Day, if it has gone down to 1%, that means you haven't utilized the traffic spike entirely, and other brands have gained their GVs and hence sales. So continue to look at sort of GV share on the pie platform. So these are some of the things that I would like to sort of recommend to all the brands. And I think that's it. Halli.
Got it. Thank you so much, Kunal. Well, that wraps up the formal fireside chat for today. A big thank you to our speakers for sharing such actionable insights and to all of you for joining us. So, with Prime Day just around the corner, we hope you're walking away with sharper strategies, smarter tools, and a clear game plan to scale. Wishing you a high performance Prime Day 2025. Have a great day. Thank you, everyone.